What's happening? Back at it.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
I tried to sit down somewhere. I just couldn't. So, I watched LaPeef's Let's Talk, the latest show. And they had this new cat on there named Gino Black. So this is like the full show. It's not cut up yet. So this might be a long one. I'm gonna try to keep it short. Long story short, Anton and Gino got at it. Shots were fired. And it was not pretty. Had old BNiks up there looking uncomfortable. He was begging for JR to shut it down. JR, shut it down, JR. But Anton said, nah. Let it ride, JR. And JR did. But we're gonna get to that. Give you a little taste of what the show was about. Because these men and women work hard to put this good content out for y'all. So, show starts off with first topic. JR asked a question. A woman always wants more than just the digging stick. I'm sure y'all know what the digging stick is. Tawana didn't. At least she acted like she didn't. I'm not gonna go into the digging stick because we all know that the digging stick is important. Second topic. Who's to blame for women not putting in the work? Well, I say it's weak, moist dudes that allow women to act a fool. If you allow these women to get out of line and you reward them for bad behavior, that's what you're gonna have. A bunch of ignorant women running around trying to give you a lot more bad behavior. So, as you could probably assume, Tawana just didn't get it. She didn't want to hold any of the women accountable for their bad behavior or lack of personal accountability, which is not surprising. You know, since she's been on Kevin's show, you know, I think she's kind of come up a little bit, and she can kind of empathize with us a little bit and the things that we go through, but not very much. So Tawana goes on to explain why, you know, these women act like they do, and the women act out because men don't hold them accountable. And that even when you're holding a woman accountable, you got to speak to her nice and watch your tone and whatnot. Me personally, I just don't buy that. And I had to give Tawana a resounding shit. I hope she heard me, so she can tell her girls. So I just don't know where this comes from, where, you know, she feels like a man is supposed to just watch his tone and be nice and sweet, you know, while these women act a complete and utter fool. I mean, you don't even have to give them a reason to act a fool when they act a fool. And that's because they don't respect you. It's a total lack of respect for black men in general. So after Tawana finished, then BNiks jumped in to try to help her. He strapped on his white sheet cape and jumped off the edge of the bed like Superman to help Tawana explain herself, like he always does. Gotta get a boy credit. He is consistent. I had so much faith in you, BNiks. You were doing so well until you fell into remission. Now you're acting sick again. Get off the blue pill, BNiks. It's not good for you. It's not good for us. So, we're moving along. BNiks and Tawana say that men glorify these women who behave badly. I don't understand this because women are the highest consumers of this bad behavior that's being televised almost constantly in the form of reality TV, Love and Hip Hop, Real Housewives of Shantytown, and whatever the hell else they coming up with. She then tries to shame men for looking at the pictures and nasty girl content that these women are putting out in mass. But I say to you that we're hardwired to look at booty girls and booty girl content. It's not our fault. We were created this way, and we're just being taken advantage of. But that's just me. So, move on down to her saying the guys are just too weak to help themselves from, going out and chasing after the wrong types of women. All kinds of just shame and, tactics and excuses, that had nothing to do with the topic. I mean, I really found it hard to, see how she was even staying on topic, and, BNiks is struggling, listening for his opening to support Tawana. And they both just have this undying, unwavering ability to make up excuses and give anecdotal evidence. And the world is not black and white. There's the truth, and then there's fractions and fractured realities and whatnot. I mean, they just come up with all kinds of bullshit, to allow women an out for just nonsense. So I'm still struggling with that, but I understand why he's there. They're trying to redeem him, and the new guy, Gino, he's coming to the show and he's just like, he doesn't get it either. So Anton's ribbing him throughout the show, telling him that, we're gonna teach you, we're gonna get you right, Went at him a couple of times with the, light skin shots, just coming at him. And you could tell Gino got a little rustled up. You could tell he was uncomfortable with the light skin joke. can understand. It's not easy being moist. What can one do? I suggest, Gino, that you continue to observe and listen and try to just take it in, bro. You know, evolve from where you are right now. You know, if not, these women gonna make a victim out of you. You better listen. So, Anton, he just wasn't letting up on him, you know. I think the fire water was pretty strong in the show. I think some folks they can't handle it, man. You know, you can tell it was a little volatile. But they hung in there. So then you got your third topic. Women want to be a man. These women want to be men. I guess was the topic, okay? So immediately, Tawana pounced. She said, no, I don't think that these women want to be men. You know, I think that you guys are just mistaking these women wanting to be independent, you know, educated, and taking care of themselves. They just want a man to come up and to help them and blah, 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 blah. You know, that type of shit. You know, again, these women can do no wrong. She doesn't see where these women are lacking accountability with that as well. You know, she goes on to say that, you know, these feminist ideals, they were brought up by white women. And guess what? They convinced you black women to walk away from the table from black men. They convinced you that you had a problem with black men where no problem existed. But again, she stepped all over that. But if you're interested, Tawana, I can recommend some books for you. Matter of fact, I might shoot some over to y'all. Because you need to read and figure out why you believe the things that you believe. Because you clearly don't know. Maybe that'll help you out. Maybe you can share them with Ashley, you know, and get her up to speed too. Wow. I think you guys should ask Tawana to define femininity, because, you know, her description of what femininity was not at all femininity. You know, she describes all of these masculine traits, and she's trying to convince the rest of the guys on the show that should be something that men want. You know, Tawana just again and again and again tries to save these women who are irredeemable. I mean, there's just nothing good about what you see in them. You know, BNiks follows suit. Anton gets upset and said, you can't save these hoes. I agree, Anton. Can't save these hoes. All of this is leading up to, you know, these tense moments later on in the show. But I mean, I can understand how Anton got frustrated, because I mean, again and again and again, you got moist moments coming from BNiks, Gino, and Tawana doing her best to cape for her sisters. Whew, God, man, frustrating. I don't know how y'all do it. Maybe that's why y'all have your glasses, you know, filled with that excellent liquor. I can't blame you. Y'all need to let me know what Get y'all drinking so I can go get me some while I'm reviewing the show. Okay, moving along. So, Tawana moves on, you know, talking about why we should accept the unacceptable from these women. And, you know, BNiks says, you know, hey, I was wondering about this snow and how everybody has these, you know, expectations about what men, you know, should do and what's appropriate for a man and what's not appropriate for, you know, for women and whatnot. And he said basically he doesn't shovel snow, he doesn't fix things, he calls people to fix things. You know, I can appreciate that. You know, sometimes you know, you have to, you know, reach out for help, you know, procure, you know, a skilled laborer to, you know, to take care of the things that you don't have time to do, you know. That's why those services are out there. So he throws that lifeline out there to Tawana and her, you know, anecdotal evidence about how she has seen all these women in her neighborhood out shoveling snow and doing all of this hard, you know, arduous work. Ain't it funny how she always knows a woman that's doing, you know, mechanic work or works in a nuclear reactor or, you know, builds airplanes from scratch, shovels snow, drops engines in cars for hobbies. I mean, she knows some outstanding, abnormal women. Does she not? Wow. Speaking of the snow, we just got out of that, you know, and it was rough. Makes me wonder how the ladies are doing in the snow. Snowed in, power's out, gotta boil water, roofs are caving in, all kind of unsavory things are going on. I just want to know how y'all doing. How's feminism working out for you? How's not needing a man working out for you? How is that PhD helping you with that hard labor? I'll wait. You can send it to me in the comments, you know. Let me know. I'm sure we all will be able to take in all of that anecdotal evidence and maybe somebody will use it for something. Maybe trash. So, moving on to the last topic, which is one of my favorites. Ciara and Russel Wilson. Tawana tries to convince everybody on the panel that, at least the men on the panel, that Russell is such a manly man. Men should not be coming down on Russell for being a simp. And that Ciara is top top shelf when it comes down to being the type of woman that men should want to marry. Even though she's single mother to Future, aka Super Pookie. BNiks comes in and he says, so Anton, are you saying that just because she has a baby with Future, that she should never, ever be married? No one should marry her. I mean, she is fine. She is fit. She does have all the criteria that men say they want, that make a woman high value. Whoa. I had to give out a resounding.
She.
Well, Tawana was hot. I just don't see it. Ciara is a good woman, and Russell is a good man. And Russell is not a simp. Wow. Oh God, this shit's funny. So then they move on to Gino, and Gino says that again, Ciara has these great qualities. She's a high value woman. Thank God Anton comes in and he lays out the law. My dude lays down the law. He says that Russell is far less than a real man in this situation. And that, he doesn't understand why they're trying to advocate for men to do something that they wouldn't do on their own. I mean, Gino said he wouldn't do it. But then later on, he backed off on that. BNiks was even down with it. Then he backed off on it. You know why? Because they have a beautiful woman on the panel. And anytime a beautiful woman speaks, you always got moist men ready to back up and stand side by side with her or behind her in order to gain favor. Don't do it. Guys, look at this and learn from this. You have nothing to gain by kowtowing to these women and their desires and demands for you to accept bullshit behavior. Tawana tries to, get us to believe that Ciara has changed. She has changed her life. She has gotten older and she has learned from her experience with Future, and, she's a changed woman.
She.
Crazy. I don't know how one would, quantify the change that she's undergone from being with Future. I mean, she spent several months, if not a year, talking about Future at every turn. Yes, she was married to Russell. She tried to pit Russell against Future and get Russell to adopt Future's baby. Yet Future is involved in the boy's life. May not be as much as she wants. She may not even want him involved at all. Hell, if you didn't know any better, you would think that she didn't even know who Future was, what kind of man he was. When all of us out here, every man out here that's looking at Future, that knows anything about Future, listens to Future's music, knows what kind of dude Future is. Future is super Pookie and Ray Ray at its finest. What's even worse than that? She made Russell wait for some used coochie. Not only was it used, but ain't no telling what kind of debauchery and heathenry she did with Future. If you can't see it, take a second, whip out your trusty Google, and I want you to look at the caliber of women Future has been with, past, present, and future. Because you know they waiting in the wind too. No matter who he's with now. And he done made babies with a handful of them. Future cannot hold his seminal fluid for nobody. I mean, he is the epitome of irresponsibility. Now, when Ciara was with him, she was in jeans, half shirts, super tight outfits. She looked like she was of the streets. Then when she gets with Russell, she's a good girl. She's wearing little flower dresses, cute little leather outfits, and, you know, doing all kinds of upscale photo shoots. Nothing like what she was doing before. Yeah, women calling into the show saying Ciara, she was making music, she had money, and nobody even knew who Russell was. Just ignorant. Where do they get these asinine ideas? I mean, that could only come from a woman who doesn't keep up with current events. She doesn't know anything about sports. She really didn't even follow, Ciara, because, Ciara's music was, look, it was dudes watching Ciara. And some dudes felt like she was just too good to be true. They thought she was, something else, There was all kinds of rumors going on, about Ciara and who she was and whatnot. I don't subscribe to them, but all I can say is that it was something along the lines of, yeah. But, I can't, confirm or deny that. I don't know. She's got kids, so it's probably not a truthful assumption. So, we go on in the show and it becomes even more tense. But Tawana just, she becomes more and more frustrated. She starts to, lash out at some of the callers, because callers were basically just saying, hey, this situation is no different than, buying a car. Would I pay full price for a car that has over 100,000 miles on it? Would I pay like it's new? Oh my God. You should have saw Tawana's face. The joy that it would have brought you to see the anguish and frustration in her face as she was struggling to come up with something to respond to something like that. But it's true. I can't see paying full price for used coochie either. And I'm damn sure not gonna wait for it. How you gonna make me wait? You gonna make Future wait? Future hails from the strip club. Future was playing music in the strip club before he, hit it big. And every one of his albums is about dope, drugs, hoes. That doesn't depreciate you? Whoa. Yeah. I mean, that all the fellas out here looking at him. I mean, I know, these women are saying on the show too, that basically, nobody, Russell doesn't need you, to validate him. Tawana especially, Tawana was heated, he doesn't need you, your validation and whatnot. All the guys were just, looking at her in astonishment. I mean, what did you expect? I mean, my God. Then, BNiks is just looking like it's just, it's just going over his head too, He's going to be used up too. I don't know. Maybe, BNiks, I think he's married. I'm not sure, So maybe he's safe from being used up. Hopefully his girl is a good girl, I don't know if he could negotiate, some of these treacherous, hoes out here. I hope he ain't gotta do that anytime soon or ever. So then Tawana goes into her, why she's so frustrated, because, she was a single mother too at one point, and, she explains that, I was young, and, after a while I realized that I needed more. So she traded her husband in, her first one, and for a high earner. And I don't know, maybe she thought that this would be some kind of sympathetic moment for, the rest of the men to, empathize with her. Wow. Definitely not one of those moments. What do you say to that, But, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that she is showing the attributes of a single mom who feels like that other single moms should be wifed up and treated with respect and admiration, no matter what kind of, tricks and hula hoops and backflips they did before they got with the dude who eventually saved them from themselves. Wow. So, Gino and Anton finally, they started getting into it. And, Gino tells Anton, don't talk over him. Don't talk over me, Anton. Anton busts out laughing at him. I mean, it's a little embarrassing. Gino says, it's okay. You're just not used to a real man talking to you. Anton couldn't hold it in, bro. Couldn't hold it in. So Anton let him have it.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Well, Gino didn't take that well. I mean, it just became contentious. I mean, shots continued to be fired. It was a hot mess, y'all. Hot mess. I do recommend that you guys go check it out. It was very entertaining. I just couldn't wait for, JR and Anton to, cut this up so I could just do just a little bit, so, man, I had to get this out, so you guys can go and check this out on your own. It's you see the title of this other spot, I do recommend that you guys go check it out,
Welcome to the Abuki Cabal Show.
Again, very entertaining, Woo! So BNiks, again, like I said, he begs JR to, shut it down, because they were just going at it. So, Gino attacks Anton and says basically he knew what kind of dude I know what kind of dude you were before you had money. As if Anton was weak or something before he had money. Anton responds in kind. He tells him, he said, look here, I was the shit when I had money the first time, when I lost the money, and when I got it back. Gino responded. And it just was not a pleasant sight. Eventually it got shut down, Tawana was shaking her head. She was just in disbelief. Took a few more calls where guys were basically just tearing into the Russell situation, and eventually Anton just basically told Gino that, he needs to get off the blue pill. They were going to shut down the show. And, the light skin attacks continue. So then JR asked if Gino was going to return. Gino said if he feels like he can add some value to the show, he'll return. So Anton said, well, you don't want to come back? I mean, we need you to come back. So then he, tells Anton that basically, he'll come back if he can add value to the show, blah, blah, blah. Basically, if it's not something that he can get into, then he's just not going to get into it. He really didn't say very much about, the Russell Ciara situation. He agreed with Tawana, and basically saying that he doesn't understand how Russell's a simp. I hear this from time to time, from some of these guys, but I don't understand how you can't see that Russell basically went out and got somebody who was above his pay grade with regard to her looks. Russell is not her first choice. Future's her first choice. She likes the kind of treatment that a dude like Future will give to her. But she's not different from a lot of women. A lot of women like dudes that are on that level. But then they give the appearance that they want something else and that they rate something else. But if you look at it for what she is, you'll see that what she presents is not really who she is. And that's what scares me about BNiks and Gino. They don't get it. Or either they act like they don't get it so that they can get coochie points. Either way, those two types of dudes are the worst kind of dudes to have around you. That's some weak shit. And you can't tolerate that no more than you can tolerate a bunch of this feminist bullshit that they're trying to get you to swallow. So it eventually shut down. Everybody dropped down except for JR and Anton. So it was like an after party. I encourage y'all to go ahead and go look at that. I'm running over. This is way too long. I don't even know if you guys are going to follow this all the way through. I hope you do. Anton basically tells Gino before he leaves, he says, I am an authority figure. You will respect me. Respect me, ninja. Look at Gino's face. Gino was pissed, man. Took him a sip of his liquor, man. He looked like he was about to throw that shit across the room. Anton just laughed, man. He laughed like a real G. If y'all get a chance, man, go check it out. Like, share, and subscribe.
You are listening to Abuki Cabal, the analytical savage.
I feel like a motherless child alone.